Guys, I have a problem, specifically with live service games. What? Ben, you have a problem with your games being online and getting free updates all the time and being able to play with your friends? Well, firstly, that's a loaded question, and you know it. Secondly, I love it when a new update drops and there's a whole bunch of new things for me to play around with and experience. More weapons? Heck yeah! New areas to explore? I'm in. Dude, more story? Let's freaking go! If you've got more content for one of my favorite games, I'm there. But I have a little bit of an issue with how widespread this is in the modern era of gaming, and just how frequently it's played out. I'm a bit tired of the idea that every game needs a steady stream of new content. I grew up in the PS2 era where online games were just starting to hit their stride, but still weren't commonplace since they required some effort from the user to get it working. It was all pretty janky from my understanding with how the internet was emerging at that time. Thank God I didn't have to live through using that. Now, I never personally played any real online games until Minecraft back in middle school, but by then, online play was not only smoother, it was everywhere. Shout out to when my buddy Nathan and I would play Hunger Games on Hypixel with the house phone strapped to our heads. Yeah, there was no Discord back then, guys. You had to make it work. Yeah, there was no Discord mods, no kittens, no RP servers. Truly was a better age. How far we have fallen. Now, I'm not trying to come in here and say that things were better back in my day. But when a game released, that was it. The game was more often than not finished and fully fleshed out. The devs had enough time to see their vision through, and if they hadn't,
it was too late.
There was no real way to get a patch out, much less an update, without simply recalling the game and offering a re-release. Otherwise, anything you couldn't add to the first game, you just added to the sequel. Today, things are much different. Updates and patches are commonplace. So common, in fact, that you likely can't play the new game you just bought because of the stupid Day 1 patch. There were bugs that we didn't catch before we wheeze. Please don't be angry. Kids these days weren't even single-celled organisms back when updates were rare. They're growing up in an age where internet access is given at birth, and everything from their vapes to their refrigerators are getting free updates. Mom, can I borrow your credit card? I need more fridge coins so I can get the Nutrition Battle Pass, so I can get the limited edition Star Wars Luke Skywalker Blue Milk Reactive Skin and the Rick and Morty Pickle Jar. Please, Mom, please! We live in an amazing time where developers of our favorite games have direct online access to the games we play and the communities that play them. They can instantly see feedback and opinions, as well as how people are actually playing the game. You don't have to do a survey or check what critics think of your game. You can see firsthand through videos and streams.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Hamster Hunter, back at it with another game review. Today we're looking at a little indie game, you might have heard of it, called Apex Legends. I hate it.
This opens the door for updates and patches, fixing the small things that may have been missed during bug testing, and making the game as optimal as it can be, which is great for everyone. The games get improved, and we can make devs aware of our experiences, good or bad. There are so many games out there that have a live service, and while I think it's awesome for a game to receive more content, especially if it's free, my question is, why? Why are there so many games that continue to push out updates and new content without any sign of slowing down or stopping? And why do we as players feel like DLC and free updates is a right and not a privilege?
Well, I'll tell you, son, it's because of money. We want more money and you want more game. It's as simple as that. Fork it over, big man. I know you're going to pre-order our game so you can get the 3 exclusive skins that we're going to release to everyone in just a few months anyway.
I also want to clarify that there is a difference between DLC and a live service update. A live service simply means that the game is online based and usually requires connections to their server to play it. It has regular content updates and is extremely likely to have some form of microtransactions. So a game receiving a patch doesn't make it live service, but having regular free content updates and a store in which you use real life money usually does. DLC, on the other hand, which of course stands for the games lack content, is extra content added to a game after its release, usually costing the consumer a little bit more money. Now, these two definitions aren't set in stone, and there are a lot of games that fall outside of the norm, but what I've said is generally what you'll see across the board. Deep Rock Galactic might be the perfect example of the ideal live service model. Ghost Ship Games have been releasing regular patches and seasonal content updates pretty much since the game entered early access. All of their in-game cosmetics and upgrades are unlockable through the base game with no microtransactions or loot boxes, unless you consider this a loot box, which I don't. The unlockables themselves aren't given a rank either. There's no common or rare or legendary. Everything is treated equally and can be unlocked at any time. Same with the Battle Pass. You don't have to pay for it because it comes free with each new season. The only thing that costs any extra money in this game is their cosmetic DLC. It exists purely for players who enjoy the game, who want to support the devs by paying a little extra, and they get a cool bonus for doing so. None of it adds to the game itself. There's no new weapons or biomes or missions that you get. It's all purely cosmetic, and it doesn't cause you to miss out on any gameplay features if you don't get it. And if you want some examples of games with bad live service models, I mean, they're more common than good ones. Like, pretty much any mobile game. Fortnite. The recent sin against gamers and DC fans, known as Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Now, personally, I have no problem with paid DLC. I think it's good for developers to get paid for working extra on a game and adding more content, as long as it's actually more content. Don't disguise your patch, missing content, and half-baked ideas as something worth paying for. For paid DLC to be worth it, the base game itself better be finished and playable, and the extra content needs to be optional for those who just want a little bit more out of their game. So many scummy publishers and developers love to do what we call in the business, the exact opposite of that. And I don't even think the free-to-play model is that bad. You get a whole game and the whole experience for free. You don't have to spend a single dollar to experience an entire game, but good luck getting anything of substance out of the free drops. It's like the video game equivalent of thrifting if the workers at Goodwill put everything in a box and said you can only buy whatever random thing you pulled out, except they didn't put any of the good stuff in there, so you're just pulling out like random shirts that don't fit that say like lobster bisque on it or something. In an age where the same developers are scraping for every last cent they can get from you, being able to play an entire game for the low price of nothing is incredible. So it makes sense that they have to make money elsewhere in other ways. I dislike it, especially since the odds and loot boxes are rigged against you. But since nothing is truly free, it becomes a necessary evil. The problem is when the focus is on the money, when the primary drive is the money, when the corporations and their grubby shareholders demand that these features are not only included, but pushed. Isn't it ironic how the name shareholder is an oxymoron? To children of all people, the most impressionable, inexperienced, and easily influenced crowd. How many more I adjectives do you think I can fit in here? Impulsive, impatient, indecisive, Now this has been discussed to death, and I'm sure nearly everyone watching is fully aware of these predatory practices that perpetuate against prepubescent primary schoolers and their peers. I can do this English thing all day. Don't you hate it when you boot up a game like Fortnite because your little cousin wants to play, not because you're interested, because clearly none of us are interested. We only play because we have cousins. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. And the first thing you're assaulted with upon opening the game is the cosmetic shop and their battle pass. Bruh, I haven't even played the game yet, and you're already pushing these skins at me? Lay off, man. Back off, dude! Back off! Get away! The unfortunate truth is that these games are so focused on making money that their main gameplay loop isn't that fun, and they push lackluster skins and mediocre updates. Their goal isn't a good game, it's your time and your wallet, or your mom's wallet if you still live at home. I won't judge. Not only that, but with pre-orders and microtransactions, these devs aren't even encouraged to make a good game, much less one that's not broken on release. Did you see all those pre-orders, Doug?
Dude, I know. People are really excited to play our game.
I know, we almost have enough money to finish it now.
What?
Oh, but they can fix it later with patches and updates. Yeah, they can. But what if they didn't? What if you paid for a game that you expected to play for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and not only was the game not finished, but there was no way to update it? You'd be furious. You'd send the game back. You'd grab every copy of that game and you'd bury them all in a landfill in New Mexico. So why do you accept when developers release broken games just because they can fix it later? I know most of these issues come from crunch culture, and again, those corporate bastards that keep ruining the process with their greed, but we can't keep letting them get away with this. They know they can make a killing because they use clever marketing, and suckers will always pay for it. And I'm fully aware of the amazing comeback stories that have come out of situations like this, like Battlefront 2, Cyberpunk, and No Man's Sky, to name a few. But this should not be the norm. We shouldn't have to bully EA to remove microtransactions and loot boxes from our games. Although if you want to keep doing it to any game with scummy practices, I am with you 100%. I will be there. I will help you. There's one final issue I have with live service games, and that's games that require an internet connection to play it. Any of it. Any part of it. Some games are designed purely for the multiplayer aspect of it, so why even develop a story in single player mode when that's not what people will be playing even a year down the game's lifespan? Sure, I see the logic, but even the multiplayer mode deserves a single player offline version of it. And if the game is purely single player, don't make me connect to the internet to play it. What is wrong with you? Wow, I sure do love being connected to nobody. I believe in video game preservation. All games should be playable by anyone at any time, given the game is no longer being sold or is out of production. Now, I'm not saying that we should be emulating games because that would be illegal. But video games are an art form, and the stories and entertainment that they bring should be preserved despite licenses and contracts and whether or not mom will let me play it. Games that are solely online multiplayer can't exist once the plug is pulled from their servers. There are a lot of old games that are kept alive by a dedicated fan base modding the games and having their own servers, and that's awesome. But a game shouldn't require that just to play it. It also makes it pretty much exclusively available on PC, which is a darn shame. But I want you to imagine all these games that you're playing right now that are live service. What happens when those games die? What happens when there is no way to play them anymore? Maybe you'll never want to play them again. Maybe those moments you had with the game had their time and place, and you've moved on. But think again about all that time, all that money, all those memories and struggles to get to silver 4. I'm at bronze 1 again. Every ounce of your life that you poured into a game, never to be seen or experienced again. It's honestly tragic. Even if there are mods and servers for people, the game will never be the same as when you first played it. There will be less people, no new content, and the skill ceiling will be in outer space because everyone who still plays the game is as cracked as the TV you hucked your controller into after you dropped rank, damn it! Mom, I'm not addicted, I can stop whenever I want, but please, I need your credit card, Mom, please! On the other hand, while I believe that games should always be playable, I believe games aren't meant to be played forever. Video games aren't meant to continue to grow into eternity. We can't keep adding on to a game until the heat death of the universe. The amount of content gets overwhelming, and then you need a master's degree to even navigate the menus. I've tried to get into League of Legends. Cringe, I know, shh, I know. Hear me out. Because I have friends who play it. And every time I've tried, I just couldn't do it. The amount of characters and systems and mechanics is all thrown at you at once, and it's so overwhelming that I just couldn't and still can't do it. League of Legends has 162 characters that you can play as of 2023. Bro, how am I supposed to figure out who fits my playstyle best and who I want to main when there's that many champions to choose from? Same goes with Smash Bros. And Apex and any other game that has dozens and dozens of characters to choose from. The more content that's added to a game, the more you get to experience, but then there's even more you have to learn and the barrier for entry gets higher. We're already seeing games with 100 gigabyte files. The more content we add over time, the larger those files get, loot pools get bloated, and bugs become much harder to find and fix. Companies are greedy, but so are we as players, and it feeds into this cycle of them ripping us off, us being upset about it and wanting more content, them giving us some, and then ripping us off some more again and again, and it never stops. So why? When does it end? When does Minecraft end? When does Apex end? When does the studio-eating galactic god emperor Fortnite end? How far do we push the envelope before it becomes too much? At what point do we say, yeah, that's enough. Game is complete. I'm satisfied with that product. A lot of early access games fall into this trap where people are invested because of the constant stream of new content. So once the game gets an official release, they just keep on updating, never fully completing their vision so they can keep interest and continue to make sales. Now, some developers are self-aware and have made it a point to end their games on a high note or when their vision was finally completed. Games like Terraria, or Hollow Knight, or Shovel Knight, or Dead Cells. All of these games have had updates and or DLC of some kind, and now they're done receiving new content. Wow, all indie games. Who would have thought? What we need to understand and accept as gamers is that video games are allowed to end. They're allowed to be completed. Games are allowed to die. It's sad to see your favorite game go, but the biggest reason that video games die, besides the studios making the worst decisions known to man, is because we are never satisfied. We're always looking for the next big thing. We have to play the newest game that comes out, and we have to make content before anyone else so we can get the clicks, and we gotta be the cool guy that gets a legendary skin first so we can brag to all our friends. We can't sit still and just appreciate the games that we have in the moment. Except for TF2 players, because they've been playing the same game for 17 years, and they're freaks. In the best way. I love you, TF2. Constantly looking for the next game, the next season, the next update, burns you out and leads you to wondering why gaming doesn't hit the same. It's because you're not appreciating the games that you have in the moment. Looking ahead makes you dissatisfied now. When's the last time you didn't just 100% a game, but you learned everything about that game? You played it over and over and over again, trying different things, hearing all the dialogue, learning every quirk that this game has. We get a game because it's hyped up. We play the game as fast as possible so that we don't get spoiled and so that we can be a part of the conversation, and then we move on to the next game. The devs took anywhere from 2 to 7 years to make that game, and you beat it in 24 hours. Now, I know I'm probably coming across as a little bit preachy, and I guess I kind of am being a little bit preachy about this. But my point ultimately is that I think we need to slow down and really enjoy the games that we love playing. We need to take our time and appreciate all the work that went into the games we love and stop looking out for the next thing. Remember, the game you're bored of now, you were hype about a year ago. And I want to make it clear, it's okay to play lots of different games. That's the beauty of the market today. You can play anything. There are infinite options, but you can't play them all, at least not in a capacity that matters. So the games that you do have and the games that you do enjoy, make the most out of it. And once you've experienced everything a game has to offer, it's okay to move on. It's so much more impactful when a game is made to near perfection and that it can be completed. It's the fact that it has an end to the content that gives it so much more value. Also, stop pre-ordering games. Just stop. I promise you'll get to play the game even if you get it a day later. Okay, those exclusive perks or pre-order bonuses are never as good as they seem. You probably won't even use the exclusive skins that they give you anyway. So let's all stop complaining and moaning when a game is delayed or when a free update isn't exactly what you thought it would be. And let's complain about the real issues. Mom, why won't you let me borrow your credit card? Please, I need it, Mom, please. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. We are close to 1,000 subs, and that's pretty exciting for me. That music video, I think a lot of people really connected with that. And that was incredible to see. Like, I love reading all the comments, people telling me about their favorite songs or like other video game soundtracks that I should listen to, or just the way that gaming music has affected them. That was awesome. And I feel like I had some really good discussions with a lot of the people in the comments. So please leave comments. Let me know what you thought. I want to know what your opinions are on live service games. Do you think that they are the future of gaming? Do you think that they are destroying gaming? Do you think that they have their own little place and that they can coexist with the rest of gaming and just, you know, we can continue to flourish? Do you think it's good that games can die? Or do you think that it's sad? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you guys think. I'm really excited to hear about that. As for what's coming up next, I have a couple ideas for videos, but as always, I am always reading all the comments and I will take any video ideas you have. And if I decide to do a video that I get from one of you guys, I will shout you out, put the comment in the video. It's going to be great. It's going to be good. And, you know, for the 1,000 sub special, if we can get there, I might do something like facing my fears in VR. But I got a video where I talk about why VR scares me and things that scare me in VR. I think it'd be really cool to like face all my fears and maybe play some horror games. Who knows? I might do a stream, but we have to reach 1,000 subs first, and I need your guys' help for that. So if you want to hit like, if you want to subscribe, share the video, all that stuff helps. I'm not going to beg you though. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't, then don't like it. That's fine. Do whatever you want. I'm not in charge of you. Yeah, so video ideas, I'll take them and keep doing stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. We live in an amazing... Wow, I always do that. What? We do this. I've got a problem. That's fucking...